Hello, it's me, G, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, for today, we are going to be doing part 2 of surviving an African seminary. And I gotta say, you guys really liked part 1, and many people really related to me because let me tell you something, you guys. At that time, at that decade, at that moment of life, there was a lot of seminary, a lot of schools that had good grades, etc., etc. That was the trendy thing. For your parents to take you to schools that did good and assured you of getting a division 1. So I just felt very seen. I'm glad you guys related to it, and here I am again with a part 2. Now, before I get into the video, I don't want to talk too much. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. It really does help me. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, where we last ended was me introducing one of my closest friends, my best friend, basically my family, Modest, who came into the school as I was entering Form 2. He had just came in at Form 1, and I just immediately felt a connection to him. I remember this particular day, it was a debate night, and there was a debate competition between classes, and I had never heard of this kid, okay? And I had just finished debating and giving out my points, and I sat down for my class. I represented them. I love debating because it was kind of like a space where I was appreciated. These niggas didn't appreciate me anywhere else, but when it came to debate, they knew who to go to. They knew who the mafia boss was. They knew who the final boss of debate was, and it was me, because I had good grammar, because I actually had common sense. No offense, no tea, no shade. But basically, I was the debate icon of my class. So as I sat down, Modest stood up to go debate. And this was the first time I actually had heard his voice, because I had seen him around, and obviously people already had started talking about him, we have another G that came into our school. But I never really had a chance to talk to him and befriend him. So, like I said, Modest was going to debate on stage. By the way, the debate was inter-class debate. So we had a hall upstairs that was called the TV room. And we also did Nectar there, our nationals, our examinations. It was huge. And that's where we watched TV. And that's where we also debated, because all the classes could have been there. So watching Modest go up that stage, the moment he opened his mouth and started speaking, I was like, yeah. That's it. I found my soulmate. I found my family. I literally found myself. I just felt seen. I felt understood. I knew that was going to be a beginning of a beautiful friendship even before we spoke, because he's literally me. We had the same grammar. We watched the same shows. Okay, I'm getting too excited. But yeah. He went there and he debated and he spoke, and everyone was already talking about it. People next to me were talking about it. People started poking me oh, you see your new friend? Oh, you got a new friend, I see. Oh, this and that. All these assumptions began. People started conversing about him. And as soon as he got down the stage, he already had a platform of fans. Literally. He had a platform of fans. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I remember I used to tell Modest that we literally are the entertainment of this school. The reason this school is still sane is because of us, because we give them conversations to have. There was nothing outside that school. People didn't have lives outside that school, and that always scared me. So whatever rumor, whatever scandal, whatever fake news happened, it was Bible to them. It was entertaining to them. It was breathtaking to them. We were their local celebrities, But I'm all over the place. But yeah, basically that was the introduction of Modest into my life. As soon as he finished the debate, I remember the same night I just said oh my God, I love how you speak. I love your points. You're so smart. We should definitely hang out and converse sometime. And he was like, yeah, I love your points too. And I think that we should definitely hang out. And I don't really know how it happened, but that basically was the beginning of our friendship. I just know that for the next years of my life, he was my rock. He was the reason I didn't end it all. And he just made me stable. He made me be able to go through that life without, giving up. So apart from Modest and my cousin, who I'm not gonna mention because I'm not sure if he's open to that, but I also befriended my cousin and Modest, and there were two particular brothers that at that time they were in Form 6. I'm gonna name Melvin and Steven because I don't want to give out their real names. So Melvin was the short one and Steven was the tall one. Melvin was very close to me and we became very close instantly because he felt the need to protect me. Like, I feel, and we had a bit of conversations, and he just felt like, kid, you're not that bad. You're just misunderstood. Like, you're pretty cool. You pretty much respect people's spaces. You're very mature of your age. Okay, I know that sounds like a fucking. It sounds like something a groomer would tell you, but like, trust me, after you had gone through what I had gone through, because I didn't talk about primary, but primary there was also a lot of labels and bullying that had occurred to me. But if I talk about every bullying and labeling instance, we're not gonna finish. So I remember we became really close and we related to a lot. We also had watched a lot of shows. We had the same music taste. He liked that I liked to sing. I remember he used to compare me to Ray Ray from what is that boy group called? Mindless Behavior. I remember he used to compare me to. He was like, "You really look like Ray Ray," and I was like, "Okay." From that day, I remember my Instagram name was like Ray Ray and stuff. Ray Ray Bills or Ray Doc Bills. And Ray Ray was very cute. So it was very much a compliment, but also, yeah, not only was Ray Ray cute, he was also a really good singer. So yeah, we just had become very close. Melvin and Steven. Steven was his best friend. Now, Steven was the dancer. He was very cool. Everyone knew about him. He was like he was the school celebrity, okay? Like, he was a dancer. He was very cool. He was very well groomed, and Melvin he had swag. Like, he had swag. I remember he had so much swag that he used to call himself Swagger. But yeah, these two guys really welcomed and embraced me as I am, and they never judged me, and they looked beyond my characters and personality, and they were able to find out that I was just a boy who just wanted to, like, be seen and understood, and like, I don't know, I just felt very safe with them. And I know it's gonna sound crazy, like there's a power dynamic, they're older than me, whatever, but trust me, these guys just really took me under their wing and made sure that I never had to eat the horrible food that was served in the refectory that we talked about in the last video. I had access to phones and social media. Like, they had phones. It was illegal, but they were in Form 6, so like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, so they really embraced us and took us under their wings. And by us, I mean me and Modest, okay? Now, like I told you, these guys were older. They were in Form 6 and I was friends with them. So there were instances where we would have conversations, like, in public. We always had conversations in public, like in the refectory, in the TV room, just like to make sure there wasn't any weirdness that was being, talked about. But at the end of the day, as long as they're older, people are gonna assume that, something bad. You know what I mean? Like, I already had a bad reputation based on nothing. So now it's like, wow, you're really proving our assumptions about you, because why are you hanging out with Form 6? The only reason is these guys were mature and they weren't worried about how I acted or how I talked or where I came from, or if I had perfume on, or if I had body oil on. We had conversations. We talked about culture, music. We related to each other. We had the same friends outside school. Basically, like, they were rich kids too. And I'm not saying I was a rich kid, but I'm just saying that I related more to them than I did to my classmates. And that just didn't sit right with them. My classmates were like, no, there is no way you are able to befriend grown men, but you can't befriend us. But it was like, if you guys aren't even giving me the space to be friends with you, if you guys aren't even giving me the benefit of the doubt, if you guys aren't even learning about me and learning about me as a person and judging me immediately, I'm gonna hang out with people who, understood me and listened to me and heard me and made me feel seen. And that was them, and Modest, and my cousin, and Eric. So those were my group of friends at that time. Now, in Form 2, there was a post that was being there was a post for debate. I feel like before that there wasn't a debate administration, and after me and Modest came to the school, I feel like the debate became more active and interesting, and there was hope for us to even win debates, because like it was a tradition at that school to have debates with different schools, school debates, where it was interesting. When we had these inter-school debates, people would, it was like a single-sex seminary, and then we'd go to like mixed schools, mixed genders, I mean, or like schools with just females. So people are really excited for that, and they never really cared about the debate part, only the, going to mix up with the ladies, which, I got after you're in a seminary full of men for a long time. It's very exciting to go out and see women and hang out with them and talk to them and like create this friendship with them. So there was a debate post that was announced, and the whole administration was being obviously dismantled because the last administration was over, so they wanted new debate leaders. And I remember my classmates were like, yeah, you should definitely like apply for that post, you should definitely like compete for it, like you're so good at debating, you have great English, etc., etc. And I remember thinking, you know what, maybe this could be the bridge that bridges me and my classmates. Maybe this could be a chance for me to prove that I'm worth something and I'm not just a pile of shit that these guys get to walk on all the time, and I can prove my importance in their class, which sucked because I didn't need to prove anything to anyone, but like I'm kind of a people pleaser, which is sad, but I'm still working on it even at my big age. But yeah, I wanted to impress them and please them. Okay, not in that way, but you know what I mean. So yeah, they were all down for it. They were like, yeah, you should definitely apply for that post. You definitely deserve it. Like, you're one of the best debaters in this school right now. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me think about that. So I remember just like, I was like, I'm gonna take time to think about this, to make sure that this is what I really want. And my class was like, we're all in support for you. You should definitely do it. Like, we don't see any better candidate to represent us. Now, the post I was gonna compete for was the debate secretary, I think. I think it was secretary. No. Yeah, secretary. Yeah, secretary. I think it was secretary. And I remember this particular day I was with Modest and we were conversing, even though at that time, after me and Modest established a friendship, by the way, I didn't talk about this, but like we established a friendship and we like hung out during lunchtime, during supper, after prep. We hung out a lot because we finally found each other. We found people who understood each other, which was us. And that didn't sit right with a lot of people, because people not only did not want to see me happy, but did not want to see me having a friend. They didn't want to see me having a person who made me laugh, or who made me feel understood and seen, who made me feel normal. And that included Modest, that included my cousin, that included my friend, that included these two brothers that I was like friends with. So I remember this particular day I was talking to Modest and I was like, you know what, there's this post for the debate secretary that came out for the debate administration, and my classmates were like insisting that I apply for it. Like, I don't know, what do you think? I'm kind of scared. Like, I don't want to put myself out there. There's already a lot of conversations that are being had about me. There's already a lot of like controversies around me. So I don't even know. And Modest was like, wait, I want to apply for the debate. I think it was assistant. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure of the vacancy, but I think it was either assistant, but basically he would be under me because he would be in Form 1, I would Evo. And I was like, really? Maybe we should do it. Like, I was like, now that you say that you want to apply to it, this convinces me more, like, and obviously at that time, me and Modest had already unpacked our trauma about what was being said about us. Even though Modest had just stepped into the school, there was already conversations. Let me tell you, at that time, it didn't matter what you were or who you were. as long as you acted differently from everyone else, as long as you took care of yourself more than anyone else did, had perfume on, had oil, took care of your hair, talked like this, used your hands in conversations, all these, as long as you're in any way, shape, or form different, they were scandals about you. People would speak horribly about you. People would assume things about you. And since there was no form of entertainment in that school, that became entertainment to people. Like ruining people's reputation became the big deal for some reason. So me and Modest convinced ourselves, we're like, you know what, this would kind of like be a protective mechanism for us, because having a post kind of like puts you in the leadership, and leaders are kind of like protected, and they have this kind of like they're kept on a pedestal. Like you're no longer just gonna be some ordinary student, like you're in the school administration now, right? So we're like, you know what, this could be good for like protecting ourselves, and also it's good to have a leadership experience. So like when we go to other schools, that would look really good in our resume. So we agreed that we were all gonna apply for this. And let me just say that was one of the worst mistakes we had ever done, because not only did that put us in the clutches of these demons, like we literally placed ourselves in their clutches for them to dismantle and research and talk about us and harass us. But also it made us even more vulnerable, because now even more people wanted to know about us, even more teachers, even more, like it brought us an audience, a new audience of like teachers now wanted to know about us. And you know, like it was a lot. So the time came, and me and Modest finally decided to, you know, be a part of the debate team and compete in this, for these posts. And I remember we had to go in front of the assembly, in front of the whole school, and announce that we're competing for this and we want your votes, etc., etc. As soon as we stepped on those stages, on that platform, there was a lot of fake banter and fake cheering, like, whoa, yeah, like all these people were just, oh my God. Oh, I heard, like, you, as I was speaking, announcing, telling people that I wanna like compete for this, I could already see the whole school was like, oh my God, like that's the guy, that's Joffrey, like, oh my God, like pointing fingers at me and all of that. And when Modest came on stage, it was even crazier. Like everyone was like, oh my God, so this is the flamboyant boys you guys were talking about, like these are them. And we just basically opened ourselves to a new a new group of haters. Oh my God, you guys, it was crazy. I remember coming down from that stage and being like, this is like the worst mistake I'd made in my life. Oh my God. But I remember within that week that we announced that we're gonna be competing, there was like I'm not sure what it was, but basically we were Skyping. I feel like there were sponsors from the Netherlands. They wanted to sponsor our school or something like that. I think they wanted to get us like new computers or something, or build our computer rooms, something like that. So they had to select a group of people to go and, you know, video chat with them, a group of people who obviously knew English well. And since we had already put ourselves in that platform and the whole school knew about us, they had selected me and Modest and a group of other people. So I remember that particular, I still have the picture, I'm gonna insert it, but I remember that particular day, me and Modest were called to this Skype call, and we were there, and everyone was like, where are they going? Like, what do they know about conversing with like white people, etc., etc., just because they have good English, just because they're like doing this with their hand. But yeah. So I remember that day we went and we Skyped with them. I remember there was a time I spoke with them, and I had, I'm inserting the picture right here. I had like a little microphone. I was talking to them, and Modest was like standing at an angle near me. And I remember I sent this picture to him like last week, and he was like, wow, we really were friends from the beginning. And I'm like, yeah, we've always been that close. And it was crazy to live through that. It was crazy. So debate campaigns began, and basically what debate campaigns involved is that each participant who wanted to compete had to go to each class. Remember, we had Form 1s to Form 6. Each class didn't have less than 50 students, and the whole class had not less than 100 or 90 something students. So it was a lot of people, and we had to go through each class and announce that we were competing for these posts. So you can imagine how traumatizing that was, to go in front of a group of people who already had these assumptions about you, who had already written on the chalkboards a bunch of bad word. They had wrote curses, and they had wrote stuff about us. They had wrote about the scandals they heard about us, and they had drawn, like, basically they were harassing us, and we had to go there and like make a clown out of ourselves so that we can get these posts. And they had weird questions. I remember someone asked me, oh, so who did you have to sleep with to even be able to compete for this? Because we all know that you're not qualified. Like, so who did you have to sleep with in this school? Like, who in the administration did you have to sleep with? And I remember just being there, and I'm like, wait, is this actually happening? Is this a prank? Like, where are the cameras? And everyone just started laughing at me. And it was heartbreaking because I was putting myself in front of a bunch of wolves that wanted to like destroy me. And it was so sad, but I needed this post and I needed this protection, and I powered through it, and I went through each class. I remember the best class was Form 6, obviously, because I had made friends from that class, my two brothers, Stephen and, what did I say, Melvin? I had already started getting close to the other classmates, and they kind of started like being more open about me and being more understanding and being more friendly with me, so that they actually listened to my my campaigns, and they respected me and they clapped for me. And even though some people obviously were talking crap, but most people like were open to the idea of me being in the debate leadership, me and Modest. Okay, so fast forward after the campaigns, which was a lot. I'm not even gonna get into it, but basically me and Modest won, and a bunch of other people. There was like a leadership, and we were part of the leadership, and people clapped for us, and they were like, yay, our new debate leaders, even though we're not gonna respect you, you know, at least you can speak English. So I was like, okay, period, perfect. A few months passed, and I was closer to doing my NECTA examinations. And if you don't know, is that Form 2s also do NECTAs, basically national examinations. I don't even know why, like, you're in Form 2, you just started high school last year. Why are we doing? That's our government. So we had nationals, and I remember it was a week before my nationals, and I was pretty stressed. I was depressed. There was a lot of like stuff going on in my life and my academics. I was not the best in math. I was not good at math at all. Till today, I'm not good at math. And I remember I was failing a lot in math, and I was really stressed about the nationals coming through, and I just didn't feel ready. And I remember I was talking to my brothers, Melvin and Stephen, about it, and I was telling them, like, I'm so stressed, guys. Like, I've been studying. I feel like nothing is working out for me. Like, maybe high school isn't for me. Like, and on top of that, I have to run this post of debate. I have to be a debate leader. On top of that, I have to be disrespected in because with debate leaders, every Friday is like debate night. So we'd have to go through each class and make sure that people are actually debating, and make sure that, you know, points are being given. People are actually taking this seriously. And Friday turned into one of the most interesting days of my life, to the worst, because I knew that Friday prep, I had to go around each class and get harassed and bullied and insulted, and it was hell. And it was just a lot compiling at the same time, and I couldn't talk to my parents about it. I couldn't talk to my family about it. I knew that they wouldn't understand it. The whole reason I was there was because they wanted me to get good grades, and so far I was thriving academically, but mentally, emotionally, I was going through it. Like, I always tell my friends, I feel like I may not be physically strong, but mentally and emotionally, I have been through it. Like, I have been through so much that at such a young age that I felt like, wow. Like, imagine being so young and people already assuming something about you and already labeling you, and you don't even know who you are yet. Like, you're still trying to understand who you are. And it was just very overwhelming, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to be there, and I felt like I wanted to leave, and I kept telling them, and they were just telling me, like, you just need to be strong, you need to get through this. Like, if I were you, I would just escape and leave, and just like I would face it with my parents. But like I told you guys, a people pleaser to narcissistic parents, it's like a pattern that keeps going on. Like, you keep satisfying them, they keep stroking their ego. Like, it was just a cycle. So this particular weekend, I was talking to my brothers about it, and they were like, you know what, you've been really stressed this week. That was a week before my nectars, and they were like, you've been really stressed. And me, Melvin was telling me, me and Steven are escaping like this Saturday. Do you want to join us? And I was like, escaping? Like, what do you mean escaping? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go to the club. We're gonna have a good time at our school was inside the rural areas. There was like crops all over us. It was like a small town. And then the town itself, where the fun happened, where like they call it mjini, like in the town, was like a bunch of kilometers away. So for us to get to the club, we had to leave the rural area and go to the town. So they're like, yeah, we're escaping school. We're gonna go out to the club. You should definitely come with us. You should like, loosen up and have a good time. And just like, and I feel like they told me that we want to remind you that there is life outside this school. Like, there is life outside there. There's people outside there. There's fun. Like, I feel like they're like, we feel like you've been consumed by this life so much that you forget that this isn't it. Like, there is life out there. There is fun out there to be had, and you deserve to have it. Like, you don't need to be so depressed and like suicidal, if you know what I mean. Like, let's treat you and let's go out and let's have some fun. And I remember thinking, I don't know if that's a good idea, but also I really, really needed that. Mind you guys, at that time I did not drink. I started officially drinking alcohol in university. I think like my second year or the end of my first year. So this whole time I was going through life sober. Can you imagine, you guys? Like, the amount of white people who would have ended their lives, I can't even imagine. But I did not drink alcohol. I could not consume. It's not that I didn't want to. I just could not. The moment it was on my tongue, I would vomit. Like, I didn't like how it tasted. I didn't get the hype. I didn't get it. Like, I didn't see the point of drinking alcohol at all. So I was like, you know what? I could use some outside music and some fun and just to like let loose and like, reduce my stress. That sounds like an idea I would be open to. So I remember they told me, you cannot tell anyone about this, because we usually do this on some weekends and we don't want people to know, because obviously at that school everything was something that you could be expelled for or punished for. Being late for church, not going to church, not cleaning your place, not washing the dishes on time, speaking Kiswahili, like everything, noise making, like everything was, it's like they always looked for a reason to flog you. And I'm like, I thought colonialism ended years ago. Why are we still doing this? Like, what's going on? So they were like, just for you to be on the safe side, don't tell anyone about it. So I remember Saturday came and I was the debate leader. And at that night, on Saturday, I didn't have to go through classes and I had to tell my friend. About it. His name is Eric. I told him like, okay, so I'm gonna escape. He was sleeping next to me, so I had to tell him. He would found out that I was escaping because he was sleeping next to me either ways, and he was like my best friend. And if I could trust anyone else there apart from Modest and my brothers, it was him. So I like told him that, so don't be upset, because at that time also I'm not sure. I feel like he also had a post. He had a leadership, I think in the disciplinary leadership or something. I'm not sure. But basically, I had told him that, so this is what's happening. Tonight I'm escaping with my brothers. And he was like, Geoffrey, that is not a good idea. There's already so much being said about you. There's already people out there who are ready to destroy you. So this is like putting yourself, in a really bad situation. And I was like, listen, Eric, I know that, but I need this. I need to like decompress. I'm so stressed. I'm so depressed. I'm so suicidal. And I feel like I need to be reminded that there's another world out there. I need to just like let loose and relax. I remember the only thing he told me is that promise me you won't drink, promise me you will come back on time, promise me if you have any hesitations, you will come back without any, like, just promise me that. And I was like, I will, I promise you. And he was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna put the pillows on your bed and pretend that you're sleeping next to me, like on the bed next to me, obviously. I'm gonna try to have your back as much as I can throughout the night, but just please be safe out there. Like, I don't like this at all. And I remember telling him, I know, like, I'm sorry, but it's gonna happen regardless. And I remember the idea was, my brothers were like, you should have a black sweater and you should have black jeans. You should just be fully in black. So I had a black hoodie, I had black jeans, and the plan was meeting, so basically we had a football pitch. This school was huge. We had 2 football pitches. We had a basketball pitch. It was huge. It was a huge school. So I remember the plan was meeting up at the football pitch, and then the football pitch that led to the farm, Shamba, where we grew crops and we harvested them by ourselves. So we had to pass through the Shamba. Like, imagine, it's like 12 a.m. at night, and you have to pass through that so you can escape. There was like a secret bush where you remove the stuff and you could like go, like there was a route outside school through the Shamba, aka the farm. So we met at I remember I was there at like 11:50 something, and I was like by the pit latrine because the football pitch and the pit latrine were next to each other. So I was there waiting for my brothers to come, and finally at 12 a.m. they came and we started like going. So I did not know that there was another group of people escaping. I thought it was just me and my brothers and maybe 2 more people. These guys, basically half of the class was escaping at that night. I had no idea. Like, I thought it was just us. So we were the first group though. So as we were going through we had to like lay low with our hoodies. Like, this was crazy, with our hoodies at night, like trying to like going through the pitch and going through the farm, through the crops, and like it was dark. Imagine going through a huge farm, like dark at night at 12 a.m. It was scary as hell. But like, I was with my brothers, they had their phones had torches, so they would like torch and like direct me on where to go, because that wasn't their first rodeo. They had escaped multiple times. So yeah, we were going through the crops. And as we're going through this, I heard another group of people behind us. So I was like, wait, what's happening? Like, are there people behind us? Is that animals? Should I be scared? Like, is that a demon? What's going on? So apparently, basically half of the class was escaping at the same night. So that brought about controversies because the class of the Form 6 was where the head prefect was. So obviously he had suspected that since half of his classmates weren't in the dormitories, they were escaping. So they had a mandatory checkup. They would check each and every dorm and count people and make sure everyone was in the dormitories. And I wasn't. So you can imagine that. So before we could even like escape out the school, the alarms were raised and the torches were torching the Shamba and the farms. Bro, this felt like escaping like prison. Like the torches, I remember they had this huge torch that if you light it, you could see like everything in the Shamba. You could see a lot. Like, it was a very powerful torch. It was huge. So they were like torching the farm to see like, and we were there. We had not left yet. So we were like trying to hide from the torch. It was crazy. I felt like I was gonna die. The adrenaline was insane. I was like, oh my God, should I go back? Like, should we just go back now? Like, everyone knows already. Like, I'm scared. And my brothers are like, you're already here. We're like, there's the out. Like, we're literally about to leave. So why would you want to go back? Like, there's no reason to do that. Let's just keep moving forward. So finally, after going through the bushes and through the farm and escaping the torches and hearing this alarm, we had reached the place, the end of the farm, where like there were like bushes kept hiding the escape route, which was basically like a huge fence of like crops that had thorns on them. So like I remember they had created a hole through that fence, and they had kept bushes there to cover it up. So I remember my brother like removing the bushes, and then we went out. And thankfully they had already called a motorcycle, boda boda, to come pick us up, because like I told you, from where we were at to town was like a lot of kilometers away. So we had to take a boda boda all the way there. There were two of them. They took one together and I took one alone. So they were in one boda and I was in another. So we just left with the boda. And as we were leaving, other Form 6s were coming with us. So we saw another like group of bodas coming, and it was like crazy. It was insane. I remember all of us had black hoodies on bodas, like going to this club. I was like, what's going on? How did I get here? Like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Like, what am I doing here? I was so anxious because I already knew everyone knew what's going on at school, and I already had this compilation of rumors stacked up on me, and this isn't gonna make it any better. But here I am, like escaping to go to a club. So we reached this club, and I remember they didn't even ask for our IDs. They didn't care what age you're at. All I know is that my brothers were regulars. As soon as we got there, the security just let us in, and we went in, and people were dancing. They immediately ordered a bottle. They started drinking. I told you guys, I didn't drink. I started drinking in uni. So I was like, nah, I'm good with the drinks. I'll get a soda. And everyone was like, what? Soda? Like, you're so weird. Like, you're so... But I was like, listen, that's just not for me. Like, if it works for you, I love that. But I can't drink alcohol, and I'm stressed as hell. So I remember the whole time, most of the time I was just sat there watching them have a great time and listening to music and being like, yeah, you know, this is fun. Instead of forgetting about my problems, I was just thinking about the shit that I'm gonna get when I go back to school, because I'm not gonna be in this club forever. So like, that just brought about more problems for me. So I was stressed the whole night. And then I remember at some point I started dancing a little, but I wasn't feeling it and I couldn't fake it anymore. And yeah, we stayed there until like, I feel like 4 a.m., 4:30. And then when time came, I think 4:30 or 4, we had to go back to school. So here I am on a boda again, going back to this hellhole, knowing everybody already knows that I've escaped, obviously. Like, and knowing that I'm just gonna, like, I'm going to feed myself to the wolves. Like, there's nothing I'm gonna do. Like, I felt like it was the end of the world, you guys. I felt like there is no coming back from this. I felt like I'm definitely getting expelled. Like, I was so scared out of my, like, oh my God. Anyway, so I remember we were able to get back to the school fence, and we went through back, and as we were going back in, I scratched myself on a thorn and I hurt myself and I was bleeding a little bit, but it wasn't anything crazy. But we just went back to the dorms, and I remember my brother telling me, like, I remember Melvin telling me that, like, go straight to your dorm, change your clothes, like, hide your shoes and stay on your bed as if nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. So I'm going back, we escaped. Mind you, at that time as we're back, it was like, sun is out. It wasn't like a night, like it was like the morning already. So here I am thinking like, okay, I'm gonna escape back to my dorm. As I'm entering the dorm, everyone is like sitting there, like waiting for me to come back in. Everyone, like the whole dorm is like sitting there. Like as I walk in, everyone is like looking at me like, oh wow. And they already started talking about it. They're like, oh, so where were you? Whatever. So I was like, nah, like I was just walking around, like decompressing from all the stress. And Eric was like, yeah, they know. The whole school knows. Like everyone knows you escaped. And it wouldn't have been a huge case, but when they found out you were gone, because apparently I was the only person, apart from the Form 6, I was the only other student who from other classes that escaped with them. So that just already raised suspicion. And as I was removing my jeans, people saw that there was blood on my leg, and that just, everyone just, apparently there was a whole controversy. The whole night people didn't sleep. They were talking about how they were assuming that I went to an orgy party and I was taken as a sacrificial lamb to this weird Didi party, apparently. And people started creating these notions that they had escaped with me, like they're taking me somewhere, like taking advantage of me, and this entire class of Form 6 were in on it, and it was a plan, and like, I was baffled. Because why would a leader of debate who had nationals next week go to an orgy party? Like, how did it go from me escaping to go to the club? How did it go from me escaping to go to the club to me going to an orgy party? Like, how did we get here? I was in shock. I was in tears almost. Like, what? I was so stressed. I was so scared. And there was nothing I could do about it. I just had to wait for the consequences of my actions, and it was really freaking stressful. It was a lot. So my friend Eric was like, don't stress too much. You can't control this. It's already like out of your control. So I advise you to just go take a shower and just come to the dorm refreshed and just like chill and maybe do your laundry and just like, you know, wait for the other shoe to fall. Like, you know. So that's what I did. I went to shower and I came back to the dorm. As I was coming back to the dormitory, I found the head prefect in my dorm, and he was there waiting for me, and he was like, so you're Joffrey? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, oh, so yeah, we want to have a conversation with you as the leadership, and it's gonna happen today, and you're gonna be called, and I need you to be responsive, and I need you to be cooperative, and I need you to be honest with me and the questions we're gonna ask you, because this is a serious matter. We know you escaped. And I was like, okay. Like, I couldn't even pretend like, no, what are you talking about? Obviously, they were in my dorm. They saw that I wasn't in the dormitory. They realized, you know, like, if 2 + 2 is 4, you know what I mean? Like, how are you not in your dorm the whole night? Where were you? I could have said that I was studying, but these guys scoured the whole school. I'm talking about all the classes, the refectory, everywhere. They searched everywhere. Like, they didn't sleep until they knew where I was. And they eventually concluded that I was escaped with these niggas. And obviously, even though I said that Form 6 were kind of like friendly with me and they kind of liked me, obviously there were people who didn't. So obviously people had already said that, yeah, we were with that kid, you know, the flamboyant kid from Form 2. What's his name? Like, yeah, we were with him too. So there was already a lot of proof. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's have this conversation. Now, the conversation was gonna be had at ANDA. Now, if you don't know what ANDA was, let me introduce this to you. So if I told you guys that we had the teachers administration and the school administration of students, the school leadership, the school government. Now, in the school government, they have their office. Now, this is one of the most controversial thing about that seminary that people don't really talk about. It's called ANDA. That office is called ANDA, and it's called ANDA because it was under our dorms. Like, our dorms were on top and the under office was under our dorms. It was like an under office. And this is where students would get literally tortured, beat up, assaulted, abused to submission. Like, I'm talking about horrible stories were going on in this office. Like, I remember one time there was a kid who was allegedly framed for robbing someone. Like, obviously this person was stealing some stuff and he was a thief. Okay, that's who he was. But then when they caught him red-handed, they wanted to associate him with all the other cold cases of people getting robbed. So they just wanted to stack all those cases onto him so that he can be the sacrificial lamb. And I remember this kid was taken to under to like so they could like talk to him and like investigate more. He was beat up so hard. He came out the next day because he came out in the morning of. He had a black eye, his lips were busted. He had like he was beat up. Like imagine your fellow student is beating you the hell up, busting your lip, giving you a black eye, hitting you like not even your parents, like you're a freaking murderer. Like I don't even know where these people got authority to do this, but apparently they were given authority by the school government. They had this authority to beat us up and to torture us. It was crazy. It was called the under office. I remember there was also a story that someone who went to under and fainted. Like it was so overwhelming that he fainted. Like it was a crazy thing. It was insane. So imagine hearing all these stories and knowing that I was also gonna be called to this under office and I was also gonna be interviewed and questioned in this under office. I was so scared because I knew they were gonna end my life. Like these people were waiting for the day they would have their hands on me in that under office. They were waiting to beat me up. People really hated me. Like they couldn't imagine that, oh my god, finally we're able to crucify this boy without anyone doing anything about it. Like they couldn't miss out on the opportunity. I remember that day almost each leader from each post had to go to under because they all had to witness, me getting tortured basically. So I remember my friend Eric telling me that, listen, they're gonna call you, but they're gonna call you at under because he was in the disciplinary leadership. So he was like, I know they've talked about this. So yeah, they're gonna call you at under. And I didn't even notice at that time, but he had also admitted that I had escaped because he was in the leadership too. I had put him in a weird situation and he was sleeping next to me and he couldn't pretend looking for me the whole night. So eventually he cracked and said that, yeah, you know what, he did go with them, but I'm sure everything is, like he tried to have my back, but there's only so much you could do. So yeah, he was like, yeah, you're gonna be called to under and they're gonna try to torture you, but I'm gonna try my best to have your back and make sure they don't like hit you or anything like that. Like I wouldn't want that for you. So I remember I panicked so bad and I was like, you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna go see my brothers and I'm gonna go talk to them about it. I did this because Melvin, who was the short one and who was very close to me, at that time, the rector, the principal, was his uncle. So I was like, listen, these niggas are trying to kill me. Like, they're taking me to under, they're gonna go torture me there, they're gonna potentially murder me. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for it. Like, I'm not ready for this. And the only reason I went is because of you guys, and you guys convinced me to go there. I'm freaking out. What should I do? And I remember I was crying. And I remember Melvin telling me, like, I'm gonna take care of it. Don't worry. Like, I'm gonna talk to my uncle. I'm gonna make sure you're not gonna get a scratch. Like, now I'm not sure if he actually went to do this because obviously what audacity do you have to go like talk to your uncle knowing that you had also escaped? I don't know if that actually happened, but I do remember sleeping at night and like 10 p.m. at night was when we were all supposed to be in our dormitories asleep. Everyone was supposed to be in their dorms, and there was an inspection that night because there was an escape that happened the night before. They had to do an inspection in the dorms and everyone was in the dorm. And when it reached like 11:30 p.m. or something, or almost 12 a.m., I remember our dormitory door being opened and I was like, yep, they're here for me, because I couldn't even sleep. And I was like, yep, they're here for me. And I remember they had sent Eric because Eric wasn't sleeping. At that time, he wasn't in the dorm. So I was like, okay, they had called other brothers to like interview them and investigate more about the escape and what had actually happened. Did you guys really go prey on this young boy? Was it really an order? Like, what really happened? And when my time reached, they sent my friend Eric to come take me. So he was like, listen, like, we're gonna go to under. You need to like, don't say anything to disrespect them. Don't speak out of the line. Admit what is true and deny what isn't, no matter what they do to you. And I was like, what do you mean no matter what they do to me? Like, what are they planning to do to me? Like, what's going on? So he took me, and the dormitory was, like I told you, it was like kind of up, and then we had to go through staircases to go down to the under office. So I went to I had never seen it. I'd never seen it ever. It was like a small office. It was pretty small. There was like a chair, there was like awards of leadership, and then there was like sticks like for flogging. There was sticks for flogging, and there was like, you know, when you flog someone and the sticks like break, the broken sticks were like all over. It was a torture chamber basically. And I remember thinking, wow, I am this is it. Like, this is where I'm dying. Like, I've heard so much about this place, so this is it. So I remember they took me there and they started questioning me, and they were like, so this and this happened, like, you did escape, is that true? And I was like, yeah, I did. Did you escape with these people? And I was like, I escaped with a group of people. Like, there was a lot of people, and I'm sure you know who they are because clearly they were here. And this one leader was like, who are you talking to? Like, they're like, his name was Freddie, I think. He was like, who? Yeah, that was his real name. Who are you talking to like that? Like, why are you speaking so disrespectfully? Like, why are you so confident to talk to us like this? Like, do you know who we are? And he was like trying to like scare me and harass me. Like, remember, he tried to like hit me, and my friend was like, listen, we agreed that we're gonna have a decent conversation. There's no need for hitting people, there's no need for assaulting people, and also this is what people expect, that you will be hitting people. So maybe we shouldn't do this. I remember he was like, no, like, this guy is too much, like, evil. So they interviewed me there, like, what happened? And I was like, what happened is that we went, I entered the club, I drank, I had one soda, I danced a little, and I came back to school. That's all that happened. And they were like, are you sure that is that all that happened? Did this not happen? Were you forced to do anything against your will? Were you damaged physically? People told us, like, your fellow classmates and dorm members told us that you came back bleeding. Like, why were you bleeding? Like, what did they do to you? Like, were you assaulted? And I was like, no, like, you guys are really like forcing this thing to be the fact, but it's not the fact. Like, I wasn't assaulted. I willingly went. We had a great time, or not, and I came back. Nothing else happened. And I remember they were like, okay, we're gonna investigate more, but we don't believe that. Like, we need you to tell you the truth. We need you to tell us the truth about what really happened. We're trying to piece things together. People are saying this and people are saying that. And I was like, you can't listen to people who weren't there, because I was there. You know, I was there. These other brothers were there. These other people who were saying these things weren't. So how can you trust their word against mine? Like, it doesn't make sense. Remember, after saying that, I was slapped across my face by the head prefect, and he was like, you're so disrespectful. Like, you think you're so smart and so well spoken and this and that. Like, you're not supposed to be talking to us like this. I need you to commit that is actually happened. You're gonna write a letter saying that you had escaped against your will and you were like assaulted by these guys, and that's what happened. And I remember being like, and I remember because that under thing happened, it happened for like over an hour, and I was tired. And the next day was Monday, not only any Monday, but the Monday of my nationals. So I remember being like, you know what, fine, I'll write the letter, I'll have it to you by, you know, after my exam tomorrow, I'll bring the letter to you. So I remember after my last exam, I went to Melvin, I told him about it, and he was like, only write what happened. These other things, don't write them. I've already talked to my uncle, screw them. I've already explained it to him. I'm gonna take accountability, I'm gonna take ownership, I'm gonna be punished on your behalf because I forced you into this, and I have already agreed with my uncle what's gonna happen. So you just write what exactly happened. So I remember writing the letter and submitting that admitting that yes, I did escape, I did go out to the club, it was illegal, and I was sorry about it, and etc., etc. And I had to go submit the letter to the head prefect, and I remember submitting the letter, and yeah, that was it. They took the letter and they were going to like read it and like decode it and etc., etc. And I remember that being like the beginning of the end. Like, that was the validation this entire school needed, that I was not supposed to be there and I was different and I was, you know what I mean? I remember after that happened, my life was never the same in that school. Like, I had basically dug a grave for myself, and nothing was gonna change, nothing was gonna convince anyone otherwise, even though I tried my best to convince everyone that nothing had happened, like explaining it to everyone who asked me. And I was like, no, nothing like that happened. There wasn't an orgy. It was just like, anyways, I'm gonna end here for today because just my mental is all over the place talking about this, and reliving this is very overwhelming for me. And I'm gonna need time to like just think about it, and basically I'm gonna need time to heal from this. So I'm gonna film another video next week, but for today I'm gonna end here. Thank you guys for watching. If you've reached this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. It really helps me. And comment down any weird thing that happened at your high school, like if there was an under office where student governments could torture other students, or if there was escaping to go get food, like any weird thing that happened to your high school or seminary, please comment down. I want to read it. I'm sure most of you can relate to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. G out.